Welcome to Resource PNG. We begin this program with a look at the recently concluded PNG Leadership Summit. The gathering, bringing together all top bureaucrats from all sectors of government, provincial and district administrations and authorities, provided an opportunity to give updates on the status of projects implemented in 2015, as well as provide an insight into challenges that still remain. Government ministers, provincial governors, provincial and district administrators, heads of state entities and agencies, as well as Papua New Guinea's high commissioners and ambassadors to other countries converged on Port Moresby for the 2016 Leadership Summit. The summit, the fourth in this term of government, was an opportunity for all to share their experiences in delivering services to the people. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill was on hand to commence proceedings, and he began by highlighting some achievements of his government since taking office.
As we are being affected by low mineral, low oil and gas prices, and even lower prices for some of our agricultural commodities, we need to put in perspective some of the issues that are being discussed in public. Just to give an example, the government revenue from oil and gas sector in 2011 was almost 2 billion kina. Last year and this year is projected at about 260 million kina. So you can see the significant drop in revenue levels that our country is experiencing. So today, as we have this summit, we are approaching the management of our country in a very realistic manner, so that we can effectively manage our national economy in a very much changing global environment. We are trying to avoid the shocks that are beyond our control. So in 2016 budget, as we presented in Parliament, we have in fact reduced spending to well below 2015 levels. This was done because we were very much aware of the changes that were happening in the global economy. However, in 2016, the budget went beyond trying to preserve some of the core policies of our government. That is in the areas of education, areas of health, areas of law and order, and of course, the critical infrastructure that we need to develop our country. The budget maintains this spending, and this was done without increasing any taxes to businesses or any taxes to individuals. Of course, these are tough times, but it is vital that we continue as a government to maintain business confidence and of course encourage consumer spending. We must be very proactive in seeking to boost the investment and the economic growth that we want for our country.
Newly appointed Chief Secretary to Government, Ambassador Isaac Lupari, also spoke of the need to reform the public service to ensure services are delivered more efficiently.
The 2016 will be a difficult and a challenging year for us. We are confronted with many challenges, both domestic and the global fronts. It's a monster. It's a monster that we have created. It's overweight, it's lazy, it's ineffective, and could lose the purpose of its life. Today, it consumes almost 65% of our entire national budget. Wages and salaries alone, Prime Minister and our leaders, public service consumes 40% of that budget outlay. The question we should be asking ourselves and discussing it, are our people getting value for that money, for that investment that we make in the public service? Public service today, undeniably, is one of the stumbling blocks for progress and service delivery in our country. Therefore, we need to do something, as Prime Minister said. If we don't trim it, if we don't get rid of the excess weight, if we don't get rid of the overlaps, the duplications, the leakage, the wastage, it'll continue to affect our progress and delivery of goods and service to our people. And without any doubt, Prime Minister and leaders, it will derail the moment of change that we have achieved since 2011. We simply can't afford to shy away from it, thinking that someone else will come and fix it for us. That will be the biggest mistake we will make. If we do, we'll be only denying ourselves. We'll be doing great injustice, depriving our children, the future generations, of a better life that they deserve.
Treasury Secretary Dr. Dairi Vele was one of the first speakers as well, providing an overview of the economy at a time when many are questioning the real financial status of the country. He assured those present that although revenues had taken a hit due to the low world commodity prices, the government had a plan to ensure that this would not affect key government priority areas.
Andy, our budget priorities remain the same, so I won't labour over them. But in terms of the sources of where the funds are coming from, Andrew, you can see that our tax revenue is just under a 10 billion kina. And every effort on our part will be given to make sure that our IRC and our customs and our other agencies are funded and make sure that that they are raising the money. Dividends, 729 million kina. You know who you are. You will be getting letters shortly to remind you of each individual organization of how much we are expecting as a part of the 2016 budget. This is the time when everybody puts their hands up for government. So for those that are trying to future-proof the investments for another 100 or 50 years, this is not the time. Let's focus on the next 3 to 5 years. So the challenge for us is to make sure that we don't let our debt program get away from us, so that rather than paying our dinaus, we are building schools and building hospitals.
Don't go away, we have more on the Leadership Summit after the break with a focus on East New Britain Province. That's up next on Resource PNG. Welcome back. We continue our look at the recently concluded PNG Leadership Summit. Now, the summit also provided an opportunity for districts to present on their priority areas and what they have achieved in 2015. In this segment, we take a look at East New Britain. The summit also provided an opportunity for provinces and districts to present on their programs in 2015. Among these provinces, East New Britain. Acting Provincial Administrator Wilson Matava led the delegation and provided an insight into how the provinces has had some success in delivering quality services to its people.
Has gone far in terms of development and successes. There's a lot of success stories for East New Britain. Our land area in the province is about 15,000 square kilometers. We have a population of 271,000. Our population density as a province is about 14% per kilometer. While we have established the 18 local level government and the 4 district headquarters, our challenge in East New Britain is now to work on our East New Britain Provincial Headquarters, our East New Britain Civic Centre, and that will house our Provincial Headquarters and also our Provincial Assembly Chamber, which we will work on for this year, 2016. We have a missing link in the South Coast. It's about 7 kilometers. Our infrastructure in East New Britain, we continue to have funding support from PSIP and the national grants, and also the Department of Works in the New Britain Highway, the maintenance of our Robal Town roads, our Kokopo Town roads, and also there are new developments in the province. As I mentioned earlier on, 18 local level governments are established, and now we are going further down and establishing community halls in the wards. And we also have support to establish, in support by all our open members, in establishing ward accounts and empowering our councillors and ward members in small projects at the ward level. The New Britain Highway, Our district administrators will talk about the support to our rural electrification in the province. Our major project in Kokopo is the Kokopo Sewage Project, and that is a national government initiative. And I'd like to commend the Prime Minister, seeing the importance of sewage in Kokopo. Kokopo is a water table, and this project is very important for what sewage and sanitation in Kokopo, East New Britain. Lands, our land acquisition, as East New Britain is prone to disaster, and most of our people in Rabaul and parts of Gesell and Kokopo are relocated to safe areas. We continue to pursue land acquisition, plantation, and also customary land to relocate our people. Surveying and subdivision is ongoing to support and provide titles to our resettlement population. VCLR, that is a program that is carried out in the province, continue to identify and make land available, customary land available for development. We have a successful land mediation services because our land mediators are now being paid, and so they are doing their work. We have a physical planning unit that covers all physical development in the province and makes decision on plan development and physical development in Kokopo, Rabaul, Kokopo, and Pomio.
Anastasia Dio, Deputy CEO of Kokopo City Authority, provided some highlights.
We promote and talk about growing the local economy. Priority number 1 under Kokopo District Administration, VSIP, rollout, is the impact project, which will look at community empowerment or economic empowerment as the priority by the Kokopo DDA board. Has been released 1 million during the term of 2013 to 2015 to our bank, the Kada Poroman Microfinance. This financial institution is owned by the people of Kokopo district. Already an initial assistance of 200,000 was released in 2013, and recently an additional of 800,000 funds to improve people's livelihood. We continue with our priorities and we focus on growing the local economy. We have focused on cocoa productions in terms of seedling distributions, cocoa nursery, rice farming, cattle projects, poultry and piggery, and we also focus on fisheries. Priority number 2, under land mobilization, we have the growth centers and plantation subdivisions. We have identified 2 growth centers under 2 rural local level government and 1 subdivision, which we have subdivided lot 2, 4 and 5 to 1,200 blocks to be allocated to the people of Raluana local level government and Kokopo Bunamami, which is the urban local level government under the district. The Kokopo district has focused on feeder roads, which the provincial administration looks at our main roads. We have maintenance and upgrading by local level government, and the district administration has covered 105 kilometers reached towards the 44 wards, which we have a total of 84 wards. We look forward to cover the other 35 in the coming future. Rural electrification. We have the roads down the line clear. By reaching the rural electrification to the people, we need the roads to be connected. And therefore, we focus on rural electrification, and we have a total of 39 kilometers covered to the rural inland of Kokopo district. The district has decided to prioritize buildings because of institutional housing, to which we focus on staff housing, the building of H65 houses, L40 high houses, and L40 low houses. We also focus on building duplexes for the school institutions. We have one of the main institution houses, a double duplex for primary primary school teachers, which finds it very hard to have houses within the schools. We have a pilot project which is now on progress, and we plan to build more of those model houses in our primary schools.
But challenges still remain. Challenges which require thinking outside the box through innovative ways of providing services which Papua New Guineans rightfully deserve.
The challenges are very much so for our resources sector. Of course, there are challenges in other sectors like the small to medium enterprises, our small to medium-sized manufacturing, agriculture and tourism. These are challenges that we need to deal today. We are encouraging, together with our ministers, that investors continue to have confidence in the economy of our country. I have been advised by the central bank that over the past 4 years, from 2011 to 2015, we have experienced an economic growth of our GDP at 9.4% on average per year. Last year alone was 9.2%. Let me assure you, have confidence in your country. We are achieving growth that are unheard of anywhere else in the world. This is because we are managing and investing in the right sectors of the economy. This is a commitment that our government gave in 2012 when we came into office. We will continue to maintain that focus.
Despite declining revenue, the public sector has been called on to ensure that the level of service increases to meet the demand of Papua New Guineans. Don't go away. Coming up next, agriculture in PNG. That's up next on Resource PNG. You're watching Resource PNG. For the majority of Papua New Guineans, agriculture continues to be a main source of income. Not only cash crops such as coffee, cocoa and palm oil, but also crops such as sweet potato that provide many families with a regular source of income. However, due to recent drought as a result of El Nino, the agriculture sector has been hardest hit, with many parts of the country experiencing an acute shortage of food over the past year. To get a perspective on the current state of agriculture, as well as a glimpse of what can be expected from this sector, leaders from different industries in agriculture came together to discuss the issues and provide a framework for the future of agriculture in Papua New Guinea. Agriculture has traditionally been the backbone of the economy of Papua New Guinea. Before the days of gold mines, oil and gas fields, agriculture commodities such as coffee, cocoa, copra formed the basis of Papua New Guinea's early economic development. However, in recent years, agriculture has taken a backseat to other sectors of the country's economy. Low commodity prices, lack of infrastructure, and a sense of being forgotten by government agencies has been devastating for agriculture.
The African Union, they passed policy that states that every country in the African Union will allocate no less than 10% to agriculture development in those regions. Can we take a bold step as a country to make that kind of legislative, law that can guarantee consistency and secured funding for the sector, so we do not have to continue to go back to Bulunpindi to beg. The setting is this. We go and my colleagues CEOs are sitting here. Every year, starting in June, going up to September, everybody is preparing. They spend hours. I used to be there, so I know. Preparing PowerPoints and how we can be able to convey our message, so that those that sit in front of us, assessing our presentation, will be sympathetic to give us funding. They did it last year. I don't want to ask them how much they got. Because the budget books tells us something else.
The Agriculture Leaders Summit provided an avenue for the heads of commodity boards to come together and present on their programs, achievements, but more importantly challenges faced in order to resurrect commodities.
One third of those figures on the SME. Investment, local, I think currently, last year and this year, we have about 12 companies who are actually engaged in buying rubber and exporting. This is basically Vietnam rubber. And we want to control that. We want to control, because we want people who can come and invest and expand and grow rubber, not only to come and buy and export. So we want to discourage that. So by next year, we will cut that number down. We will only have 3 buyers in the 3 regions, and then have a company established for the board. So we're looking at about 4 only by next year. And maybe 2018 will be the same. Low natural rubber price in the world market. That's one of the challenges. Lack of downstream processing facilities and infrastructure. Lack of basic tools and equipment, cutting utensils to support smallholder farmers. Lack of coherent and cohesive structure for the industry. I just completed a structure for the board, and I think the minister has got a copy. I hope he can give us some feedback on that, so we can quickly get a structure organized so that industry can move forward.
The potential of fresh produce was also highlighted, with the summit reminded that the fresh produce industry was a sleeping giant with the potential to increase export to overseas countries, a very real possibility.
The studies that have been conducted, they value the horticulture industry. Horticulture, basically, it is made up of fruits, vegetables, nuts, and tuber crops. It is valued around 2.5 billion. And so the collective market demand for fresh produce is 1.3 million tons per annum, while consumption demand is about 0.82 million tons per annum, allowing an annual gap of 0.5 million tons. Port Moresby remains the biggest market of fresh produce in the country, at a value of 420 million. Our market study, supported by New Zealand Aid and the PNG SDP, estimated that 140,000 tons of produce coming into the Port Moresby market annually. The March talked about LNG market is 60 to 100 tons per week, or 3,000 to 5,000 tons per annum. In fact, PNG has been importing a number of fresh produce and plant food products due to the assumption that the local produce is of poor quality and lower volume to meet the domestic market demand. That is the assumption that we have been drawing for many, many years. Market studies and field experiences have indicated that the domestic production is adequate to reduce and replace imports of food crops grown in the country. The tempered fruits and vegetables entering PNG markets in respectable volumes are mostly coming from Australia and New Zealand. Total volume of fruits and vegetables imported into the country averages around 8,800 tons per annum and valued at 15 million between 2003 and 2005, according to my book. And I think at this stage now it has doubled or tripled.
The involvement of private sector in the fresh produce industry has also been welcomed.
The 9 Mile Vegetable Farm produces now around 12 metric tons of vegetables a week. It employs around 160 people. We started with men and women at 50-50. I have to say that now it's gone up to 80 women and only 20% men. What can you say? Women are much better workers than men. True. When we came into the market in PNG in 2011, we did our own market analysis. We didn't have the exact numbers, they weren't out there. But we had a sense, due to our global experience, that the market was big. Much bigger than anybody, I think, analyzed at the time. When we came online, by the way, the main criticism that we received is that we'll be too big for the market and that we will outcrowd the farmers. Today we received I don't know what, maybe it's an unintentional result of the ban, but today the criticism is the other way around, saying that we are too small and we're not supplying enough produce to the market. So thank you, Minister, for vindicating our initial analysis of the market.
So what's next for the agriculture sector in Papua New Guinea? And that brings us to the end of this episode of Resource PNG. If you would like to contribute to the program, get in touch with us via email on resourcepng@mtv.com.pg. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search for Resource PNG. To view this episode again, you can log on to www.mtv.com.pg, where you can find a link to the Resource PNG page. We look forward to your company same time next week on Resource PNG. Bye for now.